Yo, 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 it's your boy H2O. Yes, yes. And we are back with another edition of the New Balance podcast. Listen, I'm so glad that you're tuning into this video. And as promised, we are here, part two, with our series, Marching Towards Manhood. It's all about the March Madness. And I'm telling you, last week was a blast. Hey, all of the feedback, the information, obviously I'm going to have that guest back on again, man, because there's so much there's so much chatter around it, and that's what we want, right? And this week we're going to pick up where we left off, and I'm telling you, listen, I have a dude in the building. Woo! Listen, me and this guy right here, man, over a 20-year relationship, man. We have been through some times in our lives, man. Some
Yeah.
ugly times, bad times, and definitely some great times, man. We're family, man. We're brothers. If you can't tell, man, we look just
Yeah.
alike. He's just a tad bit lighter than me. You know what I mean? Our families, man, are definitely family. We have so many intertwinings of
Yeah.
just things in life, man. And I knew when I got ready to do this, he definitely was going to be one of the guests. He brings a unique perspective to manhood, right? And we know, man, it's all about uplifting men and getting men help that they need, man, to be successful in life. And
Yes.
nobody knows that better than he and I. So without any further ado, I want to introduce you to our special guest for this episode, none other than my brother, Robert Murray, affectionately known as Rock. Y'all show him some New Balance love. Come on, give him
Yeah,
some love,
man.
man. It's so
What's
good,
up?
man.
What's up,
How you
bro?
doing,
What's
bro?
up?
How you doing,
I'm
man?
good. Good to be here, man. Good to
Yeah,
be on
man.
with you, man.
Yes, sir. It's so
Doing some
good to
good
see you,
things, bro.
man.
You're doing some good things, man. I
I
love it.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. And of course we'll kind of unwind and unfold some of it, man. Before people, many of them don't know, but some do know, man. Just relationship, the dynamics of it, right?
Right.
You can pretty much use it in any area of life. And one of the things I do love about our relationship is not the fact that we've had all these different times in different spaces in life. I can appreciate having a brother where the scripture says iron sharpened iron. This is
Right.
definitely a brother that has definitely sharpened me. And of course, we've had to have some tough conversations, right? And sometimes for me and Rock, this to be the truth. It's tough. It's tough sometimes to have those conversations.
Yes.
But
Right. Right.
you and I, we've had them, man, and I know for a fact our lives have been the better for it, man. So
It's
if you
better
would,
for it.
man,
Yes.
talk to the people, man, share a little bit, tell me what's been going on with you, man. And
Hey, I like what you just said. That iron sharpens iron. We both come to learn that iron sharpens iron.
right,
But if that holy oil and God is in between that, it's even better.
it's
That's
even
when it
better off,
sharpens
bro.
because that holy oil, boy,
It
hey,
keeps that thing, man,
yes,
going, and
keep it going.
it's grinding out what needs to be grinded out, right?
Right, right.
Yeah,
Because if that oil ain't in between, if that oil ain't between them two irons, it's
it's
gonna
gonna
get
start
dry,
burning. Yeah,
feel burning, and blow
yes,
up.
sir, for sure,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
And that's what we see in manhood, men blowing up.
exactly. Blowing up.
They blowing up, man. And I tell you what's so now, of course, for us, we can say it's so confirming, it's so comforting. God already has an answer in his word. We know that now. But you can honestly say,
Exactly.
as a man, there were seasons where it's like, man, I'm searching, I'm scratching, looking for the answer, right?
Man, seasons, years of seasons.
Years to see. That's right. That's right.
Yes, yes. But
Yeah,
that's the thing. Here's the thing is we both know we come to learn that you're never too young to teach. You're never too old
absolutely.
to learn.
Absolutely, Rock. Absolutely. And of course, we know we're in class right now. In this season, man, we're in
Oh,
class,
definitely, definitely,
in
always.
class, in the front row, the teacher can't hardly teach for us asking so many questions. Wait a minute, could you repeat that one more time? What do I have to do? Do this for my wife? What? Do what?
Right.
You mean what
Yeah.
at this season? Really? But it's good, man. It's been good. So
Yes.
yeah, man. I know, man, we talk about manhood, manhood, man, it's a lot of responsibility. Lot of
Yeah.
responsibility,
Yeah.
man. But it's good responsibility. I don't want to put this bad spin on it like it's bad. It's good, man. And I'm telling you, for us to have responsibility, that's how God's gonna build character in us, right?
Exactly.
That's how we
Exactly. He's
grow, right?
right.
And
Right.
uh, man, I know that you are a dedicated father, you are a dedicated brother, you are definitely a dedicated family man. And what I mean by family man, not just your wife, your kids, and your grandkids, but I mean your brothers, your sister, your
Yeah.
mother. I love that about you, man. Y'all have this family vibe and this family energy. I think a lot of families are missing in the day that we live in. So I love that about you, man. I love how you guys celebrate life. Y'all celebrate each other. You
Oh
work
yeah.
together, come and go, and all of these things from manhood is important. And really, a lot of men struggle in this area because they didn't have a blueprint. They don't know what it looks like, man. So
Right.
tonight,
Right.
man, we're gonna get a chance to hear all this stuff from you, man. So one place I guess I would want to start with you tonight is I know your passions.
Hmm.
If they're watching this right now, man, it's not really hard to see. But if you look behind him, you see a jersey in a frame, man. We're talking about
Yeah.
you're on tonight with a straight up baller, straight up. Do your history, do your facts. Many of you are good at Googling. If you Google UTEP and you put Robert Murray's name in there, the rest is history. Not only that, man, in high school, in college, man, you just a well-versed guy. And so if you could start with, I don't necessarily mean the beginning like as a child,
Right.
but I want you to start to help men identify with, like, you have to find a place where you begin to recognize different passions. And so I guess what I want to ask you is, when was it, where was it when you began to identify this passion and this love for this sport, football, the passion to not only just be this great athlete on the field, but I just see you as this leader off the field. One thing I know about you is you may do things, but you're gonna do things that Robert Murray wants to do. You're not a
Right.
follower. You're a leader, man.
Right.
Man, if the guys
Right.
are going to do this, like, hey, man, I ain't going to do that. You just like, hey,
Right.
I just have some convictions about life. So if you
Right.
could kind of share with us, man, where did that start? How did it come about? And, bring us up to speed in terms of there.
That started man very young, man, at a young age, just going out and playing or sandlot football, and I was playing with the older guys, my brothers and everything, the other guys that live on our street. So I was playing with guys who were 4, 5, 6 years older than me.
Gotcha.
And I was the smallest one out there. So, I had to be real, I guess you could say, just very aggressive in order to try to get a bigger guy down or get away from them in any kind of way. That's where the aggressiveness came for me and they being able to play that sport of football for so many years. And when I started playing, little league football for the Lamar Tigers back in 74, 75, something like that. I can't remember.
Right.
Um, but that I believe. Let me use this analogy for you real quick.
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
And this is you remember the three men um, that the businessman gave to the money for in the Bible. We
Yeah.
were talking about it. One he gave so many talents to him. He gave so many
Mhm.
talents to him.
Right.
One talent, five talents, 10 talents in
Right.
here. And then when the businessman came back, these three guys,
Mm-hmm.
the one with the 10 talents, he had went and multiplied 10, one to five, he had went and multiplied five. But that last one, he
Yeah.
didn't have anything.
Yeah.
He just had, hey, I knew you were a crude and rude man, a hard man.
Absolutely.
I went and buried it.
Yeah.
He didn't even make no profit. Where I'm going with this is the potential that God knew the potential in each one of those men,
Right.
like he put potential in you and I.
Right.
That potential he gave to 110, 1 5, 1 1.
Right.
Why was that one? I mean, because he knew what, hey, he ain't gonna do nothing with it. He gonna hide it. He gonna try to, hey, you can at least put it in the bank for me. Let it
Right.
earn some money.
Right.
So that potential where I'm leading with this, the potential that God put in me,
Mhm.
he didn't put it. So let's say I played corner, right? I was a
Right.
cornerback. He put this potential in me. He put a potential in Deion Sanders. He
Right.
put a potential in, let's see who else, a very well-known corner and maybe in the NFL. Um, Sherman,
Right.
right? We all did something with that potential,
Right.
right? I never made it to the league or anything, but I did make it to college football, right?
Right.
And very well. So that potential that was within me, it took me, let's say he gave Deion 10 talents, right?
Right.
He gave him more potential on me because he's one of the best ever.
Right.
Sherman's been one of the best ever.
Right.
Nobody's never heard of Robert Murray.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
had I not taken that potential that he did, the little potential that for me to play this game, I wouldn't even made it to college.
Right.
So I did
Right.
something with that potential,
Right.
at least to make it that far and earn a degree. I
Right.
didn't play in the NFL, but had I not taken the chance, being the size I am, a 5'7", 5'8",
Right.
150, 60-pound guy playing amongst 200-pound players, you know, the the belief just came in within in God because I knew there was something in me that even I had no control over. There was
Right.
just a potential was there, but I used that potential that He gave me to go
Right.
as far as I did.
Right. Right. Well, Rock, man, I want to run with that because you use that analogy of the different gifts, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
in life, men, we're guilty of looking at how many gifts, if you will, that other men have instead of focusing on the gift and the potential that God, had given us, right? And like you
Right,
said, the last one, he didn't do anything with it. He buried it in the ground. So
right,
what's the caveat here? The caveat is this, man, there are so many things in life we miss because we just simply don't take what we have and put it to use, right?
right.
We just simply, if you gave the analogy, you were the youngest, of course, playing, especially back in the day, homeboy, when you played football, you were not there because your friends, you need to be out there because you could play, period.
Right,
Right.
right,
I played the sport, man. Right. I played with guys like you, man, who went on to do great things. So I understand how hard it is, even at the high school level. It's like, oh, anybody can play football.
yeah,
No, anybody can't. Anybody can't play
no,
football. I'm telling you from personal experiences, right? I
right,
understand.
right,
I used to run
yeah,
the drills, right? I'm used to you
right,
want to have to go across the middle and catch the ball and get towed up by, all American safeties and cornerbacks. So trust me,
right,
everybody can't play. But this is the thing. You said you knew God put something in you. You believed in it. And because you believed in, let's use the analogy of the one talent, that one
mm-hmm.
talent, because you put it to use, right?
Yes,
It's a part of manhood. You put it to use. It opened up a door, ended you at UTEP, and you had a stellar college career.
yes,
You played
yes,
against and you played with some of the best players, right? You played with guys
right,
that many of us know, played
right,
against them and played with alongside.
right,
And not only that, this is what I want men to get from this. To be honest, and you know this, and I want you to speak to this.
yes,
Now, looking back at it, God used that potential and that talent through football, right? That was His way of getting you in a space, in a place, so He could reveal to you other passions that you would be doing later on in life.
right, exactly, exactly,
It's through your grind through football that you've been allowed to do some other things. So I don't want to get ahead of the interview
right,
because there's some other
right,
things I want you to talk about specifically.
right,
But I want the people to know the things that they're about to hear. I want them to know where it stems from, the basis of it, because there are men watching like, man, he's trying to figure out what is it, like that talent. What
yes.
am I supposed to do with it?
What am I
And we
supposed to do
see,
with it?
yeah, we see so many men just burying it. So I want you to talk to men right now in terms of what does it look like to take that one. Let's forget about 10. Let's forget about 5
Right.
or whatnot. Let's just start with the one. Like, how do I take this one and then watch this one multiply for me? Because what you're doing now, I know specifically that one talent has been a multiplication
Been
process
multiplied.
with all the things that you're doing now in life and that you've been exposed to, right? So talk to men about that. How, like, and of course, we're using football because that's what you did.
Right.
But let's just say,
Right.
man,
In anything.
it ain't football for me. I might have to go. I don't want to go to college. I may want to go to welding school to become a welder.
Right.
What does it look like? Talk to that.
That talent, I mean, it's just you not reacting like that person that was given that one talent. I'm gonna
Right.
sit on this.
Right.
I'm gonna sit on this because it's not that much.
Mhm.
I don't think it's that good.
Right.
You don't know that. God has already put that potential within you,
Right.
and you have to go in by building a relationship with him. Of course, a lot of us don't at that age, 17, 18, you're not really building a relationship. You know about him. You might go
Right.
to church. You might not have that strong relationship at that point in time that we do now,
Absolutely.
but that potential, you got belief in yourself. I believe in myself that I can play this game, even though I am 5'8", 150 pounds. I can play this game with guys who are 6'5", whatever, because let's go right here. Jeremiah, what in Jeremiah 1:5, right? 1:3,
Where
he says, I knew you before I stitched you in your mother's womb. I knew
right.
you,
Right.
and I set you aside.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew you before you were born. What does that say? How do we know each other? You and I spent time together.
Right.
We've talked with one another, right?
Right. Right.
That's how we know each other.
Absolutely.
So he talked to Jeremiah before. He said, I knew you before I stitched you in your mother's womb. So he had to have a conversation with him, right? So I'm sure if he spoke to Jeremiah, he didn't just speak. He not only spoke to Jeremiah, he spoke to Harry, he spoke to Robert, he spoke to Kent. Everybody's out there who's listening to this, who's going to hear this. Hey, he spoke to you too. He didn't just speak to Jeremiah. He said, I knew you before I stitched you in your mother's womb.
Right.
And set you aside as this.
Right.
Okay. So from that point on, my thing came with prayer could be, God, remind me of the conversation that you had with me.
Right. Oh,
my creative purpose.
Mm.
What is my creative purpose, Father God?
Right.
That you be glorified. But here's the thing. That just came to me 2 years ago, right? But me becoming the football player and the person that I wanted to be, man, there's some things there, Hick. I mean, we can go so deep in this. This is a show. Let me tell you this story right quick. I was with my dad one time.
Okay.
I was helping my dad, fix a doorknob. And my dad was, man, he was a good dad, a loving dad. I never heard him say I love you much, but I knew he loved me. Right.
Absolutely.
So I'm the fifth of 6 kids, 3 boys, 3 girls. I had a younger sister. But so I'm out here working with him on putting this doorknob on. He tells me to go back to the tool shed in the backyard and get a certain tool. Mm-hmm. Well, as I walk off, I'm not really sure what tool this is, but I come back with the wrong tool. And my dad had this way of talking to you. He was a professional at some curse words.
I know, right?
He was a professional. He's like, oh man, he called me some names, man. I was like,
whoa.
He said, you ain't gonna, but in that he said, you ain't gonna be about chiggity.
Bingo.
Right?
Bingo.
And that hit me, man. As a 7-year-old, 8-year-old kid,
right?
That did something to me, man.
Right.
And that thing right there motivated me. I'm telling you, it motivated me like no time. So
Talk.
when I got on the field, even from little league on up to high school and college, that thing was in me.
Yeah.
He just said my own dad. Now I know
Right.
he said it. I know he said, that's just the way he talked. That didn't
Right.
mean he didn't
He
love
didn't.
me.
Absolutely.
That didn't mean he
Absolutely.
didn't love me. I didn't take it that way, but it hurt me deep inside.
Right.
But it
Right.
swelled up. It swelled up something in me. You never know what God might put in your way, though, to let you know I got something in you. So
Right.
this is because I was a meek type of person.
Right.
But when you tell me I couldn't do something,
Right.
that would, oh no, okay, I gotta prove, I gotta show you out. So
Wow.
that thing carried me. So every time I stepped on the field, I always felt like, I got to prove them wrong, because what they see is a
Wow.
small guy.
Mm-hmm.
He can't play. But when we come, but you don't know the potential God put in me. I've been
Right.
doing this since I was 6, 7 years old. I've been
Absolutely.
playing this game, and I've been playing. So, and so I started believing in myself more and more each time. I got moved up from a freshman as a sophomore to the varsity, you
Right.
know, to the varsity, and start playing there, man. And man, it just really, when in that first game and I started playing there, and hey, it was just like I was back on the little league field,
Right.
because I used that moment, that one moment, man, that
Yeah.
one moment, but that my dad told me, you ain't gonna be about shiggity.
Yeah.
That would come in my mind. That
Right.
would always mean I got to prove them wrong. I got to show
Right.
them I can play this game. And I used that, man. I used it. And one guy told me one time, the guy told me in college, he said he was about 6'3", 6'4", receiver. And he's on about the 20-yard line going in. He said, and we standing out there on the line. He said, I'm pressing him, right? He said, hey man, all I got to do is run a fade route. I said, yeah, you got to get off this line of scrimmage first, though. And when that ball was hiking, I punched him all in his stomach and everything. He couldn't really get off the line. It's things like that. That one little thing, man. That one little nugget that my dad said so many words.
Right.
You ain't gonna be about shiggity.
Yeah.
You can't get nothing right. I
Right.
used that, man. I just flipped that thing and used it for good.
Mm-hmm.
It would make me better. I wanted to get a scholarship.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a degree, and I
Mm-hmm.
knew my way out. My way out was playing this game.
Gotcha.
So in the words of Hamilton, we say, you talking about I wrote my way out. I
Yeah.
played my way out.
You played your way out. Right.
I played my way out.
That's powerful. Last week we talked about fathers, the power of a father, the words of a father, and we also talked about surrogate fathers. So it's a couple of things you said I want to pull out, because I hope men are listening, right? This is your story, but hopefully in you sharing your story, men can identify with what their story is and how they can use the same principle. So one thing is the power. God already told us the power of words. They're going to do one or two things. It speaks life, or it's going to speak death, right? Now, those words really carry the power of death, right? But I tell people all the time, people can speak whatever they want over you. It's not the final say. You have the final say.
Right.
All you did was take something that was negative, you took it and you're like, I'm going to use this as energy and let it push me. I'm going to allow it to push me. I'm going to allow it to push me. And of course, the first part of it manifests itself through playing this sport, football, right?
Right.
But there is a underlying story that's carried through the rest of your life from that incident, right? And the other thing that I want to pull out is this. Fathers, listen to me. Wannabe fathers, listen to me. You heard what Robert said, and he said it. My dad loved me, period. I have no questions about it. And he said, even though his father said that to him, he know his father didn't mean it in which it was said. At the end of the day, he want me to be the best. He want me to succeed.
Exactly.
I know that. I know
exactly.
that. But this is what we have to understand. There are sometimes, and I know this listen, I know this firsthand as a father. As much as I talked about having a family, wanting a wife and having kids, there were different areas of my life I was ill-equipped to lead. And so for me, it was on the job training. And unfortunately, some of us come from homes and had fathers, those of us that were blessed to have fathers. Sometimes we can look and see where our fathers in certain areas, they didn't have what it takes. They didn't have the necessary tools to, listen, he told you, he sent you to go get a tool to do a specific job. But we can see many of our fathers didn't have the tools that we needed to help us be. But look what God does. He takes what life gives us. You can win with the hand you've been dealt. So you took that hand and like, I'm going to use it to my advantage. And something that came to mind, and I'll move away from it because I really want to run with this. You know, God is telling us as men, God said it's time for us to share our story over our stigmas. So like what you shared, that's powerful. But when you said that, I thought about one of my favorite movies. Everybody knows me know this is one of my favorite movies, Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yes.
Men, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm giving you a homework assignment to sit down, watch it. If you have sons or if you have daughters, either one, but especially if you have sons, sit down with them and watch this movie. There came a point in time they grew up poor. He worked on a farm and he was helping his daddy. But he knew, like you said, there was something in him. It was something in Carl Bashir. He knew it was something in him. So he surveyed his gifts and talents. One of his talents was swimming. So he said, hey man, I'm gonna go to the Navy. It's like, it's not only is an opportunity, but it's my way out from this place that looks like it's a dead end for me. And because his father was wise and he knew the potential he had in him, you got to go back and watch the movie. It's powerful. He tells him the train comes, the bus comes, or whatever comes, and it's time for his son to leave. And you know, as a father, it's like your son going off to college or going to the military. You want to give him some encouragement. You know, you love him. You want him to be his best. And his daddy told him something that was so powerful, but was so hard. He told him, he said, you go in there and don't you ever come back here. This is a father telling his son, no, don't come back to this dead place. And he was looking at his father like, what? He said, don't you ever come back here. He said, I want you to get in there. He said, I want you to fight. He said, it's going to be hard. He said, when it gets hard, I want you to fight. And in that moment, those words was the thing that drove him to the success that he had. And then he gave him a radio, and on it, he graved in there, a son never forgets. If you go back and watch the movie, a son never forgets. Forgets what? Forgets what? The radio? No. The things that the father has deposited. And so when you share that story, even though people here say, oh my God, that's horrible. It was, but look how God used it, right? And that lesson, you're still benefiting from it years later. Years later. So I'm telling some man, listen, let your father off the hook. Let your dad off the hook. Let your grandfather off the hook, man. They did the best they could with us, right? I'm so grateful for whatever relationship I had. It's my responsibility, right, to be better. So this is what this podcast is about. If we don't have these conversations, we don't have another 20 years to be silent, suffering in silence, man. So many brothers are suffering in silence because we have to talk, man. I commend you for sharing that story, man, because that could be something. It could just, people could look at your dad. You know, I know your dad. You know, I knew your dad, right? So people could look at this and be like, man, how dare he share that about his dad? No. Hear the whole story, man. And so I'm about to pick something now where they can see how this came across, because you talked about it in football. So you have so many passions in life, Rob. Man, you are let's see, man. I'm just go down. I talked about you as this phenomenal brother, friend. You're definitely that, man. We know, like I said, they need to Google. It's some YouTube. It's some YouTube footage out there of him dropping the hammer on some people. You understand what I'm talking about? But man, you are you're a community influencer. You love the community, man. That's another thing we have in common. We love our community.
We love,
You're a community influencer. You care about things in the community, and you want to make the community better.
Yes.
You are,
Yes.
like I said, man, we talked about your family. You're an incredible dad, husband, father. You know, you're a pawpaw man, which one
Yeah.
day I hope to be, man. And I
You'll
get
be
a
there
chance.
soon. You'll be there one day.
Hey, let me make for the
In
record, I'm
God's
not
time,
rushing
baby.
it.
In God's
Yeah,
time.
I'm not rushing it. I don't want my kids to get no ideas, but
Yeah.
when the time comes, man, I can't wait to be a pawpaw, man. So I watch you around your grandkids, man. I watch you around your children. And what I do is when I'm around you guys and y'all are having the moments, I go into my future and I just imagine what it's going to be like for my grandkids, man. I can't wait, to be pawpaw, man. So I love that about you.
Yeah.
Man, you are incredible poet, man. You're a speaker, you're a motivational speaker, man. You're a writer, you're a composer, man. You've written a book, man. We did a play years ago, man. Oh my God, you're a playwright.
Right.
So many things, man. You are a creative guy, man. And I want you to, if we would kind of take some time to talk about all these different areas of your life.
Yes.
Because, when you're talking about your dad, that generation, they taught us, hey, first of all, you need to have a work ethic.
Right. Right.
You need to be a man of your word. You know what I mean? And you need to go find you a good job so you can take care of your family. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of that, right?
Nothing.
But you and I, Rob, we know being 21st century men, being 21st century husbands, and being 21st century fathers, that model needs an update.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Because when you think about working, and please, I don't need any, hate mail and all your email. If you decide you want to work a 30, 35-year career for a particular company and do those things, I'm not against that at all.
Right.
But when you look at the busyness of life, when you look at how special times and spaces are, and how we have to balance manhood, it makes us have to calculate what we're going to do and who we're going to be in life totally different, right? And so, like myself, man, I have a lot of different things going on, a lot of different things I'm swinging at, but I'm swinging at them while I have this, this major job I work, which takes up a lot of my time. You know what I mean? And so a lot of men is like, man, I want to be creative. I think I want to do a podcast, but it's like, man, between working, we got little babies and my wife has her career. How do I balance all of this? And so I want to talk to you because you're a man that you have to figure out how to balance it, man. You have three beautiful daughters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they range in age, right?
Yes.
Two of them, have blessed you with grandkids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then not only that, man, you have your wife, y'all have your marriage, right? Then you work this job, man, that demands the time. Then not only that, your mom is still alive, which is a blessing. Your family.
Yes.
Men are pulled in so many different ways. I'm like, oh my God, man, can I do this, Lord? Do I need to cut something? Talk to me, man. It's just good to have other brothers who can identify, man. And we can woosah, we can exhale, right? So, man, help a brother who's struggling with how to balance his time and how to be impactful still. Because, listen, we know if mama not happy, talk to me, right? If mama not happy, man, I don't care about your writing book ambitions and, you being a motivational speaker. You're going to be motivated, but it ain't going to be
you're going to be motivated, all right?
You know what I mean?
You're going to be speaking, all right?
Yeah, you're going to be speaking, but it ain't going to be to the masses. So talk to us, man, about the balance. Talk to men and encourage men how they get a good plan. How do you do it? Sorry. Let me say this. And the last thing that's so important, even though we know it's different now because of COVID, having a life and a relationship with the Lord, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? Having that time, we went to church together for 20 years. Our family did.
Yes.
And so making time for God, serving in the house of God. So I don't want to leave that out either. And, you've done all of those. So speak to the guys, man. Let's give us help us, man. Rock, help us with this.
I do my best, but none of us all have all the right answers, right? But
Absolutely.
here's the thing: we do have experience, some
Okay.
experiences to share. Um, the first thing is put God first
Right.
in everything.
Everything. Yeah.
See, that was a time we didn't do that,
Absolutely.
right? When we first got married, we didn't do that.
No,
I
sir.
mean, we knew about him.
Yeah.
We didn't have that relationship. We
Right.
knew we were created by God. We knew about God, but we didn't have that. Mm, my God, this is my
Absolutely.
God, you
Right.
know. But
Right.
when we came out of that dead season, those dead years,
Right.
we knew I got to put God first and more foremost.
Absolutely.
Now, so I know if I put God first and I'm living for Him first, I'm going to be a better husband. At least I'm going to be a better husband, at trying to be a better husband, a better
Right.
father, a better friend, whatever that is. Me going to work and everything else. I mean, it's just put God first.
Right.
We make it hard.
Absolutely.
We make it hard. It's just like I just told you when I used the analogy of with Jeremiah. It's not an analogy, but with Jeremiah. God, remind me of the conversation you had. You say you stitched me, you knew me before you stitched me in my mother's womb.
Right.
So you had to talk to me. You had to say, "Hey, son. Hey, Harry. This is why I'm creating you.
Right.
This is what I
Right.
want you to do."
Right.
So we got to go back. We could fall back on and say, God, remind me of that conversation you had with me, first
Right.
and foremost. Now, in our day-to-day lives and activities and things that's going on, hey,
Right.
we in the earth full of fleshy things. So
Absolutely.
there's going to be some issues,
Right.
right? He said, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, but the
Right.
weapon will be formed, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean that we've won the victory
Right.
already. But here's the thing. I mean, like I said, when I say put God first, so when you decide you're a husband and you've been at work for 12 hours and you want to go have a drink with the boys or something,
Right.
think about it. Your wife ain't seeing you in 12 hours.
Absolutely.
This is my wife and my kids want to see me.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, I understand. Been there, done that. But
Right.
we got to think about, what does God want you to do first?
Absolutely.
It just, hey, Hick, let's think about this. It's being obedience, right? We talk about being obedient.
Right.
So we're putting God first all the thing, and we talk about, okay, how am I being obedient to God, in my relationship with my wife or to my kids or to my mom, whatever, trying to balance this whole thing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he with the when he was moving, when the Israelites came out of slavery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the tabernacle was moving. What was over the tabernacle? A cloud.
Mm-hmm.
When the cloud was over the tabernacle, when tabernacle didn't move, they did what? They stayed in the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the cloud moved with the tabernacle, we moving then, right?
Moving. Mm-hmm.
We moving. It's obedience. It's
Right.
obedience that's going to obedience to God, and it's just that relationship with God, and just trying to be a better man,
Right.
right? Um, for Him first, as a
Right.
servant to Him first. So, man, it's just the type of person that I think God created in me was to be a servant. Yeah, I want to see others happy first.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
now that doesn't mean that's going to always be that way. We know it's not going to always be that way,
Right.
but it is at our most selfish time that we make our worst mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's powerful. That's
Right?
powerful.
When you can think back on the times that you made your worst decisions, it was a
Mm-hmm.
selfish one. I
Man, that's
guarantee you.
powerful. I get.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you it was a selfish one.
Yeah.
So if we really just, any men out there to listen, when you hear this, and when I say, if you're trying to have a strong relationship with God, and I ain't talking about the mean thing, I'm talking about
Absolutely.
being it,
Yeah.
reality. And just being obedient to him and putting him first in every relationship, in every aspect of your life.
Right.
When you get to that point, now everybody says, let's take marriage for example.
Mhm.
Been through some dumb days, right?
Right. And just for
Yeah.
the audience, share with them how long you've been married, Rob.
I've been married 30 years now. Be going on 31 years here this June.
Incredible, man. Incredible.
I'm thankful
Incredible.
to God, though, for sure.
Yeah.
You know that at
Incredible.
year 10, boy, we hit a rough spot.
Yeah. Talk
But,
to them
but
about it,
we
Rob. Share with them, man.
about that. Me and my wife moved to, let's see, we were after 10 years of marriage.
Yeah.
Um, I felt like I had just had enough.
Right.
I just felt like, man, I wasn't being heard.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I would still go out with my friends sometimes, drinking and,
Right.
doing some foolish things, and just got, involved with another lady.
Right.
And was out and, I was going to church.
Absolutely.
I hadn't really built that relationship, but I've known God from B.L. Robinson, my grandfather,
Absolutely.
for
Come on
years,
now.
right?
Yes, sir.
B.L. Robinson taught me. We were in church every Sunday, as
Absolutely.
growing up. But here's the thing: after 10 years, I decided, okay, I didn't really want a divorce. I
Right.
wanted my wife to listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted her to hear my voice, not just what she wanted. I wanted her to hear what I needed and wanted. But I did it the wrong way. There's a right and a wrong way to do that, to go
Absolutely.
about that.
Absolutely.
So, man, I mean, this thing here, man, my wife went out of town to visit her family in New
Mhm.
Mexico,
Yeah.
came back, and I hit her with, I'm moving out.
Wow. Wow.
And yeah,